Hi, I'm Kevin with Eat, Drink, Game, and for the last decade, I've been more of a board game enthusiast than per se a video gamer. But before I got into board games, real-time strategy games were one of my absolute favorite video game genres to explore. And Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea is supposed to be one of the closest board game adaptations for real-time strategy. So I'm going to be unboxing my reprint deluxe copy of that, as well as checking out some Jeffersons. Let's get to it. Alright, so Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea by Gameland Games, Scott Alms, same company that does all your tiny epics. I do have a few of those, so I've already kind of explored a little bit of what Gameland Games has to offer, but this is what's considered their big box game. It's a game, like I said, is supposed to be one of the closest on the table that you can get to a real-time strategy game, which is something I am extremely familiar with. I do enjoy real-time strategy games. I still quite do every once in a while find myself dipping into the world of StarCraft 2. But we're going to get this unboxed. This is a fully painted edition, so I did splurge a little bit for that. Instead of getting some of the add-ons, some of the expansions that have more factions, so that was kind of my choice there. I figured 4 factions was probably enough for me right now, and we'll see how much I really enjoy that game, because I could totally see myself maybe, adding a few expansions over the years to kind of fill this out. But I didn't figure this would be a game I'd get to the table with, more than 4 players probably ever. And I don't have quite everything yet. In fact, I have already reached out to GameWin. I have a damaged box. We'll probably be able to see that a little bit better as I start taking the shrink off. I'm missing a add-on, I think, for the campaign. It was, a hero character, I think. Heart of Gamelin, and then I'm also missing a solo pack. I figured if I'm going to be playing this at, 1 or 2 players more than not, that having 2 solo decks might make this game a little bit more fun. I'm also going to be checking out some Jeffersons, Ocean Aged at Sea. This was something that was given to me. I got quite a few whiskeys to taste over, the next couple months of new stuff I haven't tried. We could call them donations to the channel, but that's not exactly what the circumstances were behind that. But I'm gonna be checking out this. I've had Jeffersons before. I'm not sure if I've had the Ocean Aged at Sea. I will say this is a very small batch. It was bottled exclusively for a specific liquor store, and it is batch number 175, bottle 102. So I don't know if that's going to change it too much, but I figured out of all of those bottles, this one kind of fit the most thematically. Ages at Sea, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. But I'm going to go ahead and get the shrink off of this, and we get a look. I'll show you that box damage, and then we can start looking at what this game has in store. I will say the miniatures have not been the best received, so that might not have been the best decision for me to go ahead and do that as far as having them pre-painted. But I also knew I probably wasn't going to paint them myself. So that was the choice I made when I backed this. This was a game that I'd wanted for a while. In fact, I think I did a video of, games that I'd been wanting for quite some time, and this was on there. But it was kind of hard to get. It wasn't impossible to get, but it was definitely marked up. It had been out of print, and so I was just kind of fortunate to do that video, and then a few months later they announced that they were going to do a campaign for it. But I don't know if you could quite tell from the front, but this box is quite dented. They did mention that they would be doing some box replacements at some point, but if you get you get a new game in, you don't want a smashed in box. And like I said, it's kind of hard to tell. Probably easier to tell right there, but it's got quite the dent. But we're gonna go ahead and get into this. I'm gonna go ahead and pour me some of this Jefferson's. Check this out as we unbox this. I wasn't sure how much extra box space there would be for some of these components. as far as like adding, you know, some of the additional heroes. And I think they got mercenaries, I believe is what they're called. But we look at the topic here, and we got a 4X objectives. So if you're not familiar with 4X games, I do have a few of them, so I'm familiar with that. That's kind of something you see as, you know, the theme of real-time strategy games as well. You explore, you expand, you exploit, and you exterminate. So here is just a basic overview of what a 4X game is. The actions that you will have, the game map overview, and how the exploration token overview looks. We also have some instructions. So a lot of the components in here, there are miniatures, but there are also some cardboard things that go together, I believe. They are your capital cities, your towers, sea vessels, air vessels. You can, I believe, permanently put them together. We'll see how that goes. It's one of those games I could probably get to the table sooner rather than later. If you follow the channel quite a bit, I've been packing a few of the games that have been unplayed, have been not played as of lately, to in preparation for a move. So that is kind of going on behind the scenes. But here is our overview. We got, you know, component overview, game setup, capital city, board setup, game area. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, just going to show you how this is laid out. Game objectives, there's a playing around, phase 1 actions, so all your actions you can do, command actions, and then battling, how battles work, all your phases for that. Phase 2 collection. I will say the biggest part, I feel like, as far as these type of games really go for me, is that economic aspect, collecting resources, using those resources appropriately to kind of build, you know, an upgrade engine, getting troops out on the board, building specific buildings. I really like that. That is something that really pulls me into the RTS genre. We also have a solo play variant. So, like I said, I got an extra solo deck. There should be one in here. The factions are the elves, the dwarves, the orcs, and the humans. Kind of funny because I just finished Amazon Prime's second season of Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings prequel, if you will. And so I've been a little bit more into the fantasy genre than I normally am. I would say, even when it comes to real-time strategy games in the past, sci-fi ones are generally ones that pull me in. The StarCraft, the Command and Conquer, Tiberian Sun. Not saying I don't like Warcraft, you know, Warcraft 3, Red Alert, Command and Conquer, Red Alert. These look like our courtyard boards for our factions. So here's our orc board. There you go. So we got barracks, a blood tent, a pit arena, a sea dock, and an air spire. You got capital levels, so I'm assuming kind of like when you upgrade like your Nexus, throw a StarCraft reference in there, you'll be able to expand those buildings to make them a little bit more powerful. You got capital actions and command actions. Here is our human board. So similar, you got a cathedral, a university, a tavern, a sea dock, and an air spire. And then you also have, you know, your different units you can build and your actions you can do at the top. Looks like you have a resource track as well, and then I'm unsure, these look like maybe some spell cards. It's been a minute since I've fully, you know, kind of looked into this game. Like I said, it was something that was definitely on my wish list for quite a while, and I'm excited to get this one in. This one is for the elves. So you also have a garrison, a mana tower, shadow guild, a sea dock, and an air spire. All these look like they're set up pretty much the same way. You also, you know, just for the difference of different buildings you're going to build and units you're going to build. And then we have the dwarves. So they have a blacksmith, a monastery, a mead hall, a sea dock, and an air spire. So we'll have to reference that as we go through the miniatures. And then here are kind of what I was talking about for our punch outs that your buildings are going to look like. This is base game 1 of 6. This looks like it's humans. Yeah, human symbol. Yep. And then we got, this looks like this is probably going to be for your elves. Looks like your dwarves. Your orcs. And then we have, it's like probably part of the airships for humans and elves with some exploration tokens, maybe some exploration tokens. And then also your air stuff for definitely your orcs. Looks like possibly your dwarves as well. I will say it was kind of hard not to get the expansion factions because they definitely looked interesting. You had one that was more air based. I can't remember the exact name of them, but that you also had like mer people. So you had like more of a sea faction, and then you had man, I'm struggling here. Just been watching something was I watching that was pretty fantasy oriented. Delicious in Dungeon as of recently. So they talk a lot about different races and stuff. So now I'm kind of kicking myself. I can't remember those well. These are going to be your stands, I believe, for probably your airships. And then we have a, looks like our game board. So, for some reason I thought these were going to be all painted. So I'm a little disappointed. I don't know if that was the thing. It looks like we just have heroes painted, which, I mean, I guess if that was the intent, that's okay. I definitely don't think I would have backed the way I did if that was the case. But let's go ahead and sprawl out this game board. It might make it easier to look at some of these miniatures out on the board. I will say, I was kind of disappointed with the packaging this was shipped in. It was just bubble wrap, no box. I feel like a big box like this more likely to take damage. I feel like somebody told me in the comments they do this with the Tiny Epics, and when I got Tiny Epic Dungeons in, I think it was, I didn't have problems with that one, so I didn't really think about it at the time. But let's move this to the side. But I do want to say, like, getting them painted was like half the price, or it was substantial compared to like just grabbing another expansion box. So like I said, I don't think I would have went this route if I didn't know. But I believe this is double-sided for a couple different reasons. I think, oh, this is gonna have to rotate. I want to say it's, so it's, I mean, it's a sizable board for sure. Not the worst one I've had on my table as of late, but we got I don't really like the way this is already peeling off, but I guess that's minimal. Probably throw a little bit of glue, get that to go back under. And we got another side, and I don't remember, I feel like one of them was more for if you're playing extra factions. Maybe it's just double-sided so you can expand that out. I think you can play this up to 6, but I do think like you put your, actually I don't even think it really matters, but yeah, even on the other ones you got like an overlay for like your mermen or your mer people, and then your sky birds or whatever they are, it just kind of sits up on top. So that might be the case, but let's keep going through this box. So it is just one, some tape, and let's cut it. There we go. Okay. So there are some of these are painted, and I believe it's just your heroes. And I will say I don't think they're horrible. There's a lot of people kind of complaining about, the quality of the painted miniatures. I have painted some before. I just wanted to make sure. I don't think they look quite as sloppy as maybe others are, but I feel like if they're hand painted, you're not going to get obviously the exact same quality out of every one of them. So it's kind of misfortunate if you got some minis that weren't as good as others. I'm gonna go ahead and taste this though. Get some of this Jefferson's Ocean Aged at Sea. I've heard mixed reviews on this bottle, and like I said, this one it's probably going to be different than most other bottles. So definitely getting some of that oakiness, some sweet notes on it. I do think I don't know what the ocean necessarily does to the aging. I don't think it's going to give you kind of like that sea brine kind of flavor you're going to get with some of those scotches, but definitely some different notes on that front end, and that heat kind of hits at about the midpoint. I'm gonna have to sit on that for a second, think about that. But let's look at these minis. So I believe you're gonna have your humans, orcs, which is weird because that's not how they were packaged. You might be able to get these separated out, right? Yeah. Let's get this guy off. Oh, we have more tape. There we go. Coming off? Yes. Alright. Not sure what this is for. Maybe it's for your cardboard components. Let's see what we got. Yeah, definitely elves and dwarves on this side. Looks like some of these dwarves is taking a tumble. Okay, well let's start with the humans. And I'm gonna try to figure out what these are all called. Put these guys down. So do we have, yeah, so we got a paladin. I believe that's the first one right here. Might be easier to see. We'll say, other than the eyes, he doesn't look too bad. I kind of like, the effect on the armor looks quite nice. Can't complain too much about these. I like that they're gonna be able to pop a little bit more than not having them painted. The next one's gonna be a mage. He looks okay. So his eyes actually look better than the first one. But yeah, we got ourselves a mage, and then a swashbuckler. Let's give her a look. Lips look a little weird, but everything else looks okay. I mean, no, it's not the worst. Not the worst. Alright, so let's look at the basic units. Looks like we got some, these will be the warriors, and we got some serfs. So it's just your basic blue painted blue plastic. And you got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of the surf, your kind of workers. I'm sure they also can attack. They're just not quite as strong. So interesting. But I don't think those don't look horrible. Those aren't like completely like botch job painted miniatures. It's pretty good. I don't try to put my finger on it, but it's got something definitely different from the regular bourbons that I drink, and I don't know if it's like that kind of those like sea briny notes that I'm thinking of, but definitely that experience is throwing me off a little bit. Definitely really, really light wood notes up front. I'm not sure what the 80, 45, 90 proof. So it's higher. It's higher. Well, let's look at these orcs though. So the orcs, this is gonna be your chieftain, I believe. And he's not horrible. He looks pretty good. Detail's decent. Our shaman. Shaman's solid. Maybe not quite as good on the face as the other one, but it's mainly just kind of your shadowy features from there. I know they're kind of hard to see on camera. But I'll say for the ones that are painted, they're not bad. I'm sure I have some guys over on the Discord that could do a hell of a job on these, but then we got a berserker. I will have to post some better photos over on the Discord and let you guys let me know what you think as far as the quality and how they look. All right, and then their basic units is they got a serf and a warrior as well. So warrior just kind of has an axe in his hand, spiky armor. And then the serf has a shovel. This one's gonna be a little harder to see. Orcs probably generally are my least favorite race to play. I feel like I'm a little more biased on those on the fantasy games. I'm trying to think of Dawn of War, Warhammer 40K game. Probably one of my favorite RTS games of all time. It's got like kind of more of a area control aspect to like your resource management, and I really like that because it just kind of keeps you from. I mean, like StarCraft and some of the other ones, you gotta expand because you need the resources. This definitely feels like it has more of that area control aspect, and it makes a lot of sense considering the IP that it's taken off of. And I don't know how that's gonna kind of go with how this is. I'm looking at the board and I'm seeing these like spots for mining, and I don't know if there's specific build spots you could kind of build them wherever. Maybe they're just build spots. I don't know. It might not even be just specific for resource management. But I do like that. I like that aspect of it. But I will say, going back to Dawn of War, orcs are generally my least favorite race. I don't know why. Even when you look at StarCraft, I have a clear favorite, but I like to play with the other two. And yeah, definitely elves, humans. I'll definitely give the Doors a try. I'll give them all a try. I mean, I'm not gonna not play one race just because I generally thematically don't resonate with. But I will say, as far as strategies you go with this, they're probably closest to, you know, playing like Zerg and StarCraft. So I like to play some Zerg. All right, so let's keep going with these. Let's look at what we got next. Let's go in the order of what I got here. Trolls, not trolls, dwarves. I don't know if there's a troll race. I don't remember. I know there's like a box of 4 and then a box of 2. So I think there's 6 more races you can play. But this is a Cannoneer. That doesn't look like the right one. This is the right one. Cannoneer. I can zoom these in and post a little bit without making them look too out of focus. I'll definitely do that. But this one, this is not too bad. There's some small things that are kind of odd, but overall, he's okay. And then we have the Priestess. Probably the worst one I'm seeing so far. I don't know why. There's just a bunch of like black gradient kind of going on underneath it. Unsure. Face isn't super great. The staff's kind of, you know, the mold's not great on that, but there's just a lot of, I don't know. This is definitely the worst one I've seen so far. Until I saw this guy. This guy's face is not great. I could see how some of the people on, yeah, these are I mean, honestly, out of all of them, these two are the worst. Going back and looking at the other one, he's not horrible, but so that's the Priestess. This is your Marauder. So the Marauder's got his face is not great. I'll definitely have to throw some pictures up on the Discord. Let you guys kind of have a chuckle. I'm guessing. Be like, yeah, glad I didn't pay for that. And then we have the Elves. Hopefully these aren't too bad, because, like I said, generally like what are they called in Warhammer, Dawn of War? They're not elves. They're elves. I'll have to think on that. This guy, let me look at him real quick before I show him off. He's not bad. Face looks okay. Eyes are almost like they're stickers. I don't think they are. But, so this is your commander, elf commander, High Eldar. Eldar. That's what I'm thinking of. I like the Eldar. But I like Space Marines too. I mean, Space Marines are cool. The Tau Empire. Yeah. Never got super into Warhammer. I tried, but they didn't let me. Sorceress. So this one's not bad. This one's got some cool details that they kind of added that they probably didn't have to. Whoever painted the Sorceress was much more in tune than per se the dwarves. But and then you have an assassin. So I'll definitely take some pictures of these. The short-term plan for this game is kind of up in the air. I definitely want to get a play, but we'll see. Man, his eyes are weird too. It's got like an outline thing going. I mean, they're not horrible. I mean, it's better than just like a dot, but very, very interesting. I would say if I had to rank the paintings on these, ironically, I think I gotta say the orcs might be the best. Orcs, probably the elves, then the humans, and then definitely last. I'm looking at you, Marauder. Yes. Yeah, Marauder's absolutely the worst. Let's look at the regular minions before I completely just forget about that. So these are going to be the warriors. They're all warriors, right? The warriors for the dwarves. And then our little serfs. These guys got at least like yeah, they got a little axe. Get a little axe. So, you know, it's kind of hard to tell on these for detail. I'd say miniature-wise, they're not bad. I mean, there's not any like weird. They're not like amazing, but they're okay. And then we got the not commander, but the warriors for the elves. Bow in the hand, and looking like you're almost either grabbing a sword or something out of the back. So, and then our serfs. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I got mixed feelings on the minis, at least the painted ones. We got some tokens, so it looks like our resource trackers. These are glued together. That's probably not going to be a good thing. Not a problem. That's a problem. I'll have to get that out later. I think this is your first player token. I didn't completely delaminate it or anything, so that'll be okay. And then probably your maybe victory point tracker. It's got a plus 50 on it. And it looks like we got some resource markers. Not sure what all the resources are in the game. That looks like an ore or something. This looks more like a crystal. And you probably need food. So it looks like probably the three, and then probably another tracker for something. Maybe your what do you call it? Capital level maybe needs a tracker. Unsure. Wood components seem okay. You know, just as good as like your tiny epics, but a little bit bigger. I'll get this guy out later. What else we got? Some cards. These are reusable, so those are always nice. Let's see what we got. I don't think the other ones are though. What do we got? Looks like spells. Recall, teleport, grow, scavenge, courage, harvest, wish, rage, magic arrow, fireball, copy spell. I'm thinking these are all spells. I didn't look at the list of components. Cards are okay. It looks like there's probably room if you wanted to sleeve them. Yeah, these are definitely spell cards. They have a book on the back. Huh. I'm unsure what the tray though is for. I'm thinking that's where you can put your cardboard stuff. I wonder if there's like a spot in the rulebook that kind of tells you, or your setup. Not on that one. Doesn't really say, just shows you how to put them together. You got tactic cards, you got spell cards, and then you just have the solo enemy cards. So I'm guessing what we just looked at is the spell cards. The tactic cards, we'll get into those in a second. I was just wondering if there was a part of the rule book that showed you how to store, but like when you add specific trays for stuff, you should probably put something like that in the rule book. But yeah, just my thoughts. This one is not have a reusable plastic. But it looks like, so we got some action cards. Called tactics. And then it looks like we have some character cards too. So I'll go over through these real quick. We got a build. Oh, the solo cards. Hold on. Here we go. So Looks like the enemy solo cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. I paid $9 for 8 cards. Surely not. Maybe there's extra. I don't know. It seems kind of expensive. So you get a build action, a tax action, a attack action, research action, recruit action, build action, and another attack action. But that is the HOLAS solo deck. And then it looks like we have some tactic cards. So we got a retreat, fight, first strike, conscripts, charge, barricade, siege, retreat, fight, first. Yep, they're just kind of repeating. I don't see anything specific. Nope. These are probably the ones you're gonna separate. They're all the same back though, but unsure. And then we got some, looks like unit cards for like the paladin. So probably like your, it looks like your defense or your shield or health, and looks like you got different levels you can get them at, probably depending on your city or your what city level. You get a mage, swashbuckler, all kind of got different stats. Your chieftain, your shaman, berserker, cannoneer, priestess, marauder, commander, sorceress, and assassin. So all of your heroes. And then tactic cards. Okay, so we already kind of went through this. We can probably put these, separate these out. I'll put the right there. And like I said, I'm guessing that your bags of tokens and your punch outs for your buildings and ships and not air units, but airships, whatever you want to call them, are all gonna go in there. That's my thought. I'll have to check them out. See if I'm right. Those all can go right there. And then we'll just box this back up. So hopefully I will be able to get into this soon. Like I said, this is one that, I mean, I was definitely pretty excited about, even with, you know, your general campaign drama that you get with almost any crowdfunding experience at this point. Even the good ones, I feel like people complain. But let me show you the back of this. Kind of gives you a pretty good idea of how you got 80 miniatures and 32 constructs, and that's kind of how your buildings and your ships and your airships all go through. Got an actual name for them? Nope, just 32 punchboard constructs. It does look like there is a companion app available, so. But I will have to keep you guys updated as far as how getting my additional stuff I'm missing and getting a potential box replacement. That'd be nice. This was a game I was kind of excited to get because I've heard a lot of really good things about it. Other content creators and reviews and whatnot really made it look like this would be a game that I would enjoy being a real-time strategy fan. So you guys will have to let me know if you played it, what you think about it. I'm excited to see if that kind of scratches the RTS itch for me, because I'm not even kidding. I have been playing a little bit of StarCraft 2 as of late. But you'll have to leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you play real-time strategy games. Which one of them are your favorite? I was looking, like I said, I'd kind of been watching the Rings of Power series on Amazon, and I was looking for a Lord of the Rings RTS game that might still be available, and I didn't really see one that was actually available to play. But I saw there was a couple good ones, at least back in the late 2000s, that were good. That were good options. But definitely excited to get into this. I will have to post some pictures of the painted miniatures so you guys can see. Some of them are pretty good, some of them are not very good. But I definitely would have maybe considered picking up one of the. I believe they had the air air race and the mer people race in one box, which definitely would have changed the dynamic a little bit. I don't know if you got the 6 board or the expansion board, because I think that was kind of included in the one that had the the cat people. It's bugging me. Like I said, I'd even just watch Delicious in Dungeon, and they definitely refer to that race, but not coming. But as far as this Jeffersons go, it's pretty good. It was probably the least exciting one out of the bottles that I inherited, but it is good. Definitely a sipper. I definitely wouldn't mix it with anything. I think it's pretty good on its own. Has some distinct flavors that I don't think I would get too many other places as far as bottles go. But definitely a good pickup. Good. You have the opportunity to check it out. I'd check it out just like this. I'm gonna get into it. I'll let you guys know what I think. Hopefully, maybe I can get a play or two up on the channel. I don't remember if this is one that has a tabletop simulator mod, but if it is, it might be one to get on and play with the community. That's something I enjoy to do when I get the time. So, yep, that's Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, Gambling Games. Thanks for checking out this unboxing. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you haven't already, definitely get over onto the Discord. Link should be below. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Much love.